In news opposite of that, Sebastian Telfair says the $20 million that he made in his career was not a lot of money when you really break it down. He went on the Pivot show and said...
I feel like we hear this story a lot from professional athletes.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get it.
I keep hearing it. And then when you hear all of them...
Pocket watcher on the show. I know you've seen at least 20. I don't know the big picture, really what you've seen, but you've seen 20 grown men. Like, don't just say bad investments. Like, how did you run through 20? I never saw 20. And just thinking about it, like, my thing when I see dudes and I'm talking to them, I'm like, bro, if you got 10, then you got 8, then you got 6, then you got 4, then you got 800,000. Like, you can see that money leaving. Like, at one point, then you trying to adjust. Like, something is going wrong with this financial plan.
That's a good question. And no excuse. No excuse. So I played 10 years. You said I made 20. We all know about Uncle Sam, right? So what's that, 10?
That's 10 already.
Right? So that's about $1 million a year.
Yeah.
That ain't no money.
It's not.
That's the real truth. The real truth is I ain't really make no money.
I hate that he does that, but I know he feels
I
like
really ain't,
They call me the pocket watcher on the show.
Oh, sorry.
I really ain't make no money. So people like, oh, I understand how you look go crazy from, you know. I'm like, I ain't make Floyd Mayweather enough money. I didn't make the type of money where it's like I'm gonna go crazy because I don't have it today. That's the real truth. If you do the math, that's $1 million a year.
Parks is right. I do feel like this conversation comes up every 4 to 6 months now.
It frustrates me in a couple ways. You know, the conversation frustrates me in a couple ways. I mean, I get the point that he's making, right? If you don't make money or don't have access to that money or that world where everything costs more and you have expenses that people don't imagine, you got people you got to take care of, you got all this shit that goes, you got agents, there's a lot of things you got to do. I get how people underestimate how fast that money can go away. It's easy to run through $1 million a year. I get that. But I don't want us to believe, or I don't want to communicate to people that means that this was unavoidable. $1 million a year after taxes is a lot of fucking money. You could buy a house. You could make a conservative investment that would ensure that you have an annual income forever. Yeah, like you could. That's less conservative than I would go, but sure. And so it's a mix of, it ain't that much money, but it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, and financial responsibility is the part that I want. The conversation I want to hear is about here's what I could have done differently, so that when these young people watch, these young athletes watch it, they don't make the same mistakes. Because you're going to make mistakes, but we should make new mistakes. And I find that we're making the same mistakes when it comes to money.
And even outside of athletes, just anybody who's making money really at any level, but particularly of any higher tax bracket level, like I think you're absolutely right. Like, let's talk about how do you spend it properly.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
I do understand that because there's a lot of expenses that we don't think about, like trainers and nutrition and travel and all types of shit that comes with.
It's not $1 million a year neither. Like, you got agent fees, you got this, you got that, you got to pay NBA dues, like all of that stuff you got to pay. He just was on some real round number shit. Yeah, it's less than $1 million if you average it out. What their net take home pay is, it's less. But Mark's point is right. Financial literacy should be the message that you're. But he just answered the question that they asked.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Not just that. You gotta.
Did he?
No, he didn't.
See, that's my point. Is that he?
Yes, he did.
To me, if I don't know a lot about this and I'm a fan watching this, what I hear him say is, I ran through the money because
it's not a lot of money.
It's not enough money not to run through.
He did answer the question. I, like Mark, would have liked to hear him come to a different epiphany.
I think two things could be true.
I made $1 million isn't a lot of money. It's not really answering the question.
But this is where I went wrong. Like, he goes on to say, I was taking care of 40 and 50 and 60 people.
That's the answer.
Yeah, but we only played a clip. But keep going.
I mean, I could play the rest
of
it.
No. I'm just saying, like, and what needs to be brought into this picture is when you come from these communities, bro, you are so far behind to even get to a level of relaxation. You might have spent $3 or $4 million just to get to where you peacefully could sleep at night.
What you mean?
I don't love
like
that.
Give me an
Listen,
example.
I'll give you one. I don't know how many siblings he has. I don't.
Yeah, it's a
Got
bunch.
13, 14 brothers and sisters. Cool. So you sign a deal. Your first deal might be $4 million, $5 million, right? You are now by default the foundation for your entire family. Which us as men, we welcome that
For sure.
Like if you could give your little sister's college tuition, you came in and talked about how your father said he's so happy that you was able to send your sisters to the Montessori program. As a man, that shit feels good. As a man, you take on those responsibilities. I don't want us to just say, yo, we can make this money and cut everybody off in our family, because that's not the definition of manhood.
But you started with if you're able.
Yeah. So you don't think if you're in his position that your career is not gonna blossom, because life has shown you different. So you think, yo, my next bag gonna be 40. My next bag gonna be this.
Ish,
That's
every,
where the mistake
ish,
is.
everything,
Not
pardon me,
disagreeing. We
ish,
just
everything you saying is exactly what I would have loved to hear from him.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have heard him say, yo, at this point in my career, I thought I had all the tomorrows
The time in the world.
I didn't plan properly. I didn't do this properly. When I hear niggas go through all of this money talk, listen, what I think is this. I think, because I ain't going to tell nobody what to think. It's a lot of money to some people. It's not a lot of money to some people. If you think it ain't no money, I don't think you should say it out loud.
That's the part.
Not today, not right now, not with what's going
He's
on
saying
out there.
based on his live experiences, again, maybe that was $800,000 a year for him, right? But again, let me finish. Yo, dog, you're not gonna have your mother living in Coney Island projects. You're not. I don't give a fuck what nobody says.
I'm with you on that, but you don't gotta buy a $50,000 chain.
They don't have to go from one extreme to the
We're
next.
not going from one extreme to the next. He lives in Brooklyn. If you go buy your mother a moderate house in New York, you spending your yearly salary on that house.
Right, but when I said one extreme to the
But
next,
I'm
moderate.
But for me, it's the $50,000 chains and
It's chains, it's cars, and you talking about a 21-year-old black kid from the inner city. That is what everybody in here got chains and watches and shit like that. And we don't make $1 million a year.
But that's the responsibility. That's my point, right? That's the conversation. I'm not being unfair to him. I'm saying at 40, I just want him to reflect on that out loud.
True.
That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Like, because the problem is if you say, "Well, I ran through all the money because it wasn't that much money," then every athlete looking up is going to say, "Well, if you're supposed to run through that, that's the natural outcome." And for me,
and it ain't.
It's not.
As opposed to saying, "Yo, we buy
it's a slap in the face when you say that's not a lot of money.
That's the other part.
And then it's like if you
to people that have never and maybe will never see $1 million
this
at least
economy,
one time. That's a lot of
That
fucking
is a
money.
slap in the face, and it's especially
Even
in
though
this economy.
I know people. My man he's a street pharmacist. Won some money around that figure, and same thing. Not a lot of money, and we kind of understood each other over that a little bit because it's not really a lot of money.
It's levels to shit, bro.
However, it changed his life.
Me and Joe had an argument when
And
we
by the way,
sat
he
here
had
talking
Adidas
about
money too, just to be clear. So it wasn't just 19 was just the NBA salary. So he actually ran through even more. But
I understand if his career was 2 or 3 years long. He said 10 years.
Yeah.
Like I understand blowing those first couple checks, first couple years, but
he has kids.
By
He
year
was
8,
married.
you should.
Bro, but he had kids. He was married. It's a lot of expenses that come along with that. I agree that the financial literacy piece needs to be expressed to the young people that are coming up so they can learn from the mistakes that you made. I agree with that, but we also are talking about a 21, 20. He might have been 19 when he went to the league.
Probably, yeah. That's why I'm not castigating him for losing the money.
When he got to the league, he might have been 19.
We're talking about 10 years of it, and I feel like it's about where you come from. So if you grow up and everybody got money, you know what I mean? Or you grow up and your friends' people had a lot of money, and of your friends' family had a lot of money. But if he's from the inner city, like y'all say, I feel like at a certain point, if it's not that much money, then why aren't you figuring out how to flip it so it is more money? You know what I mean? I feel like
flipping money takes financial literacy that we are saying that none of us really have. Your family didn't give you an opportunity, or your family didn't pass down nothing. You learning on the fly as a 20.
I think she was years, but not 10 years.
29 is
That's a
young.
crutch, though. That's a crutch.
It is a crutch.
When people from our neighborhoods run into the athlete entertainer money, one of the first things that I think you should do, and a lot of people do, is they go get a business account. Now, if that business account robs you, then that's a whole different story. But most people, because you're asking people, when you say we're not financially literate it might not be enough time in the rest of some of these people's lives to get the information that they lacking. But you can go with that coin and hire somebody that is going to protect you and your money. You can. And when people talk about going broke, I never hear, yo, my accountant told me not to. Yo, I was going to buy these chains. I was going to take care of my 30, 40 siblings. My accountant expressed against this vehemently. I never hear that part of it. And we talk about this 20 million and 10 million, all these large numbers, but it's niggas I know at a much lower scale that could benefit from having an accountant, but niggas don't be wanting to share that money. Niggas don't be wanting to go in their pocket and pay somebody else for something that they feel like is not a problem, is not detrimental, or something they can't handle themselves, and it's a crock of shit.
Yes,
it's a crock of shit.
Right.
Get a fucking accountant, yo.
Accountants also,
and what you pay that accountant is relative to what the fuck you make.
I was just about to say real quick, accountants don't be that expensive. Because it could be scary to someone.
That's one of the things that's scary out there is you hear accountant, pardon me, and be like, oh, I don't have that, or I'm not going to do that.
I can't afford it.
It don't have to be that expensive. Again, it's relative to what you make. If you make 70 grand a year, if you make 50 grand a year, I'm just throwing numbers at a wall. How much do you think the accountant is going to charge you a year to run your shit?
And you probably get that money back in what you save long term.
And not to mention,
a good accountant
going to
make you some money.
That's what I'm saying.
Bro, accountants and financial advisors is different. That's one. And then number two, we hear enough stories about niggas in the NBA and niggas in professional sports that get by their accountants. Same. So there's already a stigma and a sour taste in people's mouths when it comes to that. But again, I don't know. We going in circles, but yo, as a young black man from
I don't think we are. I think we're introducing new information.
No, I'm just saying. But as a young black man from the inner city, bro, we could tell everybody what they can't do. He played 10 years. He got out the league at 28, 29. At 28, 29, I wasn't, and I had more financial information than most. I wasn't financially smart or sound or any of that in my 20s. I think that's an unfair thing to say to this man that, yo, he should have known better.
But I don't think anybody's saying that. I think our conversation isn't about the shouldas for him back then. It's the shouldas now in terms of how he's talking about it. And how he's talking about it. Mm-hmm. I want the best for him, but I'm really just saying you have perspective now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Let's give it. Yeah, exactly. Because that's what this generation of kids
need. But if his mood is, if his vibe is still, it wasn't a lot of money. And that's know where his head at.
You saying still? See, that's the part that get me. I wonder if at that age he thought that wasn't a lot of money when he was getting it.
I don't think that's possible at that age.
Yes, it is.
$1 billion a year is a lot different.
But I'm saying looking back,
than it is
not when your cousin is Stephon Marbury. Not when you're surrounded by certain niggas.
If somebody came up to him today and dropped $1 million in his lap, I think he would think it's a lot of money.
1,000%. Yep, 1,000%. Because now he has experiences, perspective, and education.
Neutral Budden.